Hi there, in this video I'm going to show you how to simplify expressions. First though, we're going to have to understand what terms, like terms, constants, coefficients are before we can go forward with simplifying. So I'm going to start by showing you what a term is. A term is basically a variable, the number, and whatever's in front of it, whatever sign is in front of it. So I'm going to think of this as a positive 14x. This is a term. The x and the 14 are next to each other, so they are considered one term. Next, you have this plus 3. That is actually considered a positive 3. So this plus, I want you to think of it as a sign that's attached to this number. Okay, so it's not just a plus 3, but it's also a positive 3. This is your next term. I want you to think of it as negative 1x. Yes, that's right. This minus is technically a negative 1x. A minus and a negative are the same thing. And then this term, I want you to think of it as a negative 5. Okay? Think of this again as a sign. So this right here, this negative is technically the sign. Okay, so your terms are 14x, 3, negative 1x, and negative 5. Those are your terms. Okay, let's talk about our like terms now. Our like terms are technically terms that have the same variables or just constants or, the numbers that stand alone. Right, so our like terms here are technically 14x, and negative 1x, 3, and negative 5. Why? These terms have an x, these terms don't. So therefore, these are like terms, and then these are like terms. Okay, so let's talk about our coefficients, which I'm going to show with CF. Coefficients are, no, actually I'm going to do constants next, sorry. So I'm going to show constants with CS. So constants are CS. Okay, constants are the numbers that stand alone. So notice how this positive 3 does not have an x attached to it. So this is a constant. Notice how this negative 5 doesn't have an x next to it. So that's considered a constant. Okay, your coefficients are technically the numbers that are in front of the variable. So 14 is a coefficient, negative 1 is a coefficient. Why? Because they are in front of the x's. Okay, so last we're going to learn how to simplify. So we simplify, you just erase the boxes that go around. Okay, so I'm going to show simplifying with an S, and this is how you can do it on your paper. You can use squares and circles. So when I simplify, I say, okay, 14x plus negative 1x gets you 13x's, right? Because you can also think 14 minus 1x gets you 13x's. Next, you have this positive 3 plus a negative 5. Well, positive 3 plus negative 5 gets you negative 2. So your simplified expression would be 13x minus 2. Here, you cannot go any further than this. You cannot combine 13x with this negative 2 because this has an x and this doesn't. So this is as far as you can go to simplify. Okay, let's look at question 2. We have, in our example, 5x plus 10 minus 3x, ooh, that's an x, plus 1. Okay, so I'm going to start first with my terms. My terms are 5x, 10, or positive 10, negative 3x, and then positive 1. I'm going to show this negative a little bit better, clearer. Okay, perfect. Alright, let's do our like terms. So I'm going to call it LT. Okay, well this has an x, and this has an x. So my like terms are 5x and negative 3x. My other like terms are this positive 10, this positive 1. Okay, my constants, which I'm going to write as CS, My constants are the numbers that stand alone. So the numbers that stand alone are this 10 and 1. There are no variables next to those constants. Or sorry, there are no variables next to the constants. They're numbers that just float alone. Okay, so your coefficients are the numbers that are in front of x. So 5 and -3. Oops. And then your simplified expression would be whatever you can combine. So your simplified expression, I'm going to start off with this 5x plus a -3x, which gets you 2 x's. Positive 10 plus a -1, or sorry, positive 10 plus a positive 1 gets you this positive 11. So your simplified expression would be 2x plus 11. Can't go any further than that. All right, so that is how you identify your terms, like terms, constants, coefficients, and simplify.